that smokes, sleeping with her to the point where she gets pregnant, to the point where his brother rapes her, if that was true. It should involve the bank, should involve every single account she had being checked. Where was money transferred to? Where did they wire money to? Trace all those accounts, trace every numbers that called her, every number she called. Because this is an actress that was just given over 30 million naira, and all of a sudden she's a cancer survivor. She has not even gone back for a radiotherapy. She did not complete her treatment, did not go back for checkup or follow-up for a cancer patient, and she lives with a man who claims to be educated, who said he has lived abroad, and you think that was a normal thing for her not to go back to the hospital. Even if she was on drugs and misbehaving and not listening, she loved this man so much. She was calling on him every day and everywhere. All her videos you see is so, oh, come here, come here, come. It's all about this man, my husband, my husband, my husband, even though they were not even married. So to me, you were the one she would listen to the most if you had insisted for her to go back for a checkup and treatment, which you never did. Sadly, for me, that's the number one fault I blame this man for. Keeping her in the house unmarried is sinful. It's not right. It's not even lawful. Then not helping her receive a full treatment, I also see that as a very big no-no for me. The third one is when the money was finished, you asking her to go and stay with an hairdresser, sleeping on the floor this is a girl that she's from a good home. From all the things I've heard, Temitope was from a very good home. From the mother side, they were fantastic. Welcome back to Life 101. My name is Betty Hamzat. If you're watching my video for the first time, kindly like, share, and subscribe to this channel. I want us to talk about something that has been everywhere on social media of recent. I want us to talk about the death of a Nollywood Yoruba actress, Temitope Osoba, a very vibrant, intelligent, well-spoken, pretty tall lady whose death has caused a very huge controversies all around Nigeria today. I know that people have different opinions. For those of you who don't know Temitope Osoba is one of the most cheekiest actresses I know. She's very cheeky, very funny. She's jovial. I don't know her one-on-one, but from her videos that I've seen, I love the way she sounds like a baby, like a child all the time. I like a childlike character. Like even when she's seriously talking or warning somebody, she still sounds like a child. I just love that about her. She's very cheeky and very funny, and she's plump. She looks plump, pretty. Her makeup is always on point, and but sadly she has passed away. But let's just talk about this. So Temitope's mom's family were interviewed, and I listened to them. They said a lot about what they know, and I can tell that they were really honest. I could see the honesty, because they talked about her nonchalantness. They talked about how she can tell you she's coming to your house and she's not going to turn up for a month. Even when she had her cancer, they talked about how they had to chase her everywhere for her to come and take treatment. That just tells you how cheeky and nonchalant she can be, and how unserious she can take some life issues. This is not all the time a bad thing. Some people, that's their way of life. That's how God has created them. So I'm not going to fault her for that. But then, the other woman, the pastor or Olusho, the woman, Alagba, I don't know what you call them, the woman that was interviewed from the White Garment Church, she also said her part as well, how Temitope called and asked her to adopt her. And now they both bear the same last name, Osoba. They might not have known each other before, but Temitope contacted her, wanted to be part of her family, and she accepted her. And Temitope said, adopt me as your child. And this woman took her in, and they've never seen each other, they've never met, for some weird reasons. But then they became friends on the phone, and Temitope confided so much in this woman, told her everything about herself, introduced her man to the woman. Everything that went on between Temitope and the woman has come out to say a part of the story. That is just on her side. A breast lump and breast pain she felt by herself, and her mom's younger sister or older sister took her to the hospital. They went to the teaching hospital, I think in Shagamu, and she said After they checked everything, they found that she had a lump. They did a surgery, took out the lump immediately and as soon as possible. They took out that lump quickly, considering that she's a public figure. If not, the waiting list would have been very long, but they did it really quick for her, took out the lump. And that was a good thing, because eventually when they took her to Evercare, so they did more checks to see if it had spread anywhere else. And they realized that Temitope's cancer was actually taken out, and whatever was left there did not spread to other parts of her organs, and all she needed was some radiotherapy, some treatment, some medication, a lot of resting, and they want her not to be pregnant in the next 5 years so that she can heal properly. At this point, the mother's family had donated money within the family, probably with some money from Temitope as well. They've paid all the bills, they've done everything in millions, and everything was done, but she needed money for aftercare. And they were looking at their purses, they were thinking, how are we going to survive this radiotherapy and all the other treatment to come? And Temitope was going to get discharged soon. So they decided that they should contact somebody for a public fund, that people should raise fund for Temitope. At that point, the family thought about Kunle Afford, but Temitope insisted she wanted Foluke Daramola, probably because she's a woman and they might probably have that sort of, big auntie relationship. I don't know. So they contacted her, they made it public eventually. Long story cut short, a lot of money was donated, and they, according to the mom's family, Auntie Peju said, over 30 million naira was donated to Temitope. And because they took her phone off her so she can have some rest, and they told her that she shouldn't worry about having children, because it's only when you're alive you can have children. So she took that as an offense, according to the mother's family. Temitope was not happy that they said this. For some reasons, she decided not to talk to the Auntie Peju anymore. But they went home for her to be discharged the next day, and they were going to take her to Auntie Peju's house. But before the next day, Foluke Daramola and her husband turned up, according to the mom's family. And they said Foluke Daramola, who was the actress who helped her to raise the fund using our platform, because she has an NGO, she has a charity thing going on. I can't remember what she called the name. And then she went through it and raised all this money for Temitope. And actresses, well-wishers, everybody raised the money for Temitope. But the long story short, Temitope was then discharged with Foluke Daramola and Temitope's estranged husband or fiancé, whatever you call it, which is an Olusho or Alagba of a church. His dad is an old reputable pastor of a white garment church who, according to people, is in the same likes with big men of God in the white garment setting. I don't know if it's celestial or cherubim. If you ask me, I don't know the difference between all these things, because it's never been my church. So, and now Temitope got discharged. Unknowing to the family, whatever transpired between the previous night and the next day when she got discharged, I don't know how her husband came in there, how the hospital released. Anyway, she's an adult, so I'm not going to blame the hospital. They released that to her husband, and she got taken home. And the next day, by the time our cousin got there, and is it Bekele or whatever they call the man, the guy's name, got there, he was no longer there. He was crying. He called the family and they all rushed there. Temitope was gone. They tried the number. She had blocked every member of her family, and she went with over 30 million naira and with her estranged fiancé. Only for down the line, from the interview I've heard now from the hairdresser, Temitope was then asked by her husband to go and stay with the hairdresser, her hairdresser's house, which she wasn't comfortable. She said there wasn't light there. She was sleeping on the floor. They were looking at her like she was mad. They were saying things about her, calling her mad, calling her names, gossiping about her. Even the so-called hairdresser would call people to come and laugh at her. They will record her. They will say things about her. So while she was with the hairdresser, she started to, of recent, message her cousin, her different family members, telling them all sort of things about what she has encountered with her fiance's family and how they've maltreated her. Mentioned in most of her messages to people that the husband, the fiance's younger sister, pooped and poured it on her. She also weed and poured it on her. Dave said that's not true. That didn't happen. Nobody can do that. But seeing a video where she was cutting and they were recording and laughing, at this point, I don't know what to believe. It was God that made that sister to share that video, even though she quickly deleted it. But the smart guy who was on that live had maybe saved it somewhere else. So the video has gone viral. There's nothing they can do about that. And that's an evidence for a lot of things that she was actually, a lot of things that she was actually going through with that family. Look at Temitope's WhatsApp status. On her status, she was writing things. She said the younger brother also forcefully had his way with her, which is a rape. And then she said so many things, how they laugh at her. But on the very day Temitope died, so the estranged family that she met online, the Osoba woman, she was going to see the woman when her husband said she should go, that he will come and meet her there. She should go and see the woman. So on their way there, she went in. They took a korope or some sort of vehicle, not our vehicle, and she was with the hairdresser and the driver. And on their way going, according to her, she sensed that they were taking her somewhere different, and she feared that they were going to kill her. So she pretended to have like a mental breakdown, and as soon as they missed their way and they were talking to the last man, she jumped out of the car, ran out of the car to the last man and started to say, these people are dangerous people, they're going to kill her. And the last man didn't believe, but when they looked at her, they realized that she's an actress. What's she talking about? So quickly the hairdresser said she's got mental problems, she's not well. And she said to those people, if you want to know if I'm well, these people took 50 million from me. She said her estranged husband and the hairdresser took 50 million from her, and they've been talking to each other. The husband has been calling has been calling the hairdresser all through the journey and talking to the hairdresser about her. Whatever they were saying, I don't know. But she said, if you want to know that she's normal, her car keys is with them. They kept it in so place. They found it there. Everything she said to them, they found it. So they became really curious. Like, she's well. She knows what she's saying. She's normal. So they took her to the police station, and at the police station, they got the family involved. They got down there. Eventually, they released them. They were on their way they put their statements down. They were now on their way to the church that she intended to go to. They got there. The woman wasn't there. The entire door was locked. Not that was closed by. They prayed for her. They even took her to the hospital because she was behaving funny and behaving unwell. So they took her to that hospital, and by the time they eventually got to one of the hospitals, they said no, they should take her to the teaching hospital. They went back to the teaching hospital, and as soon as they got there, they said she was stretching and putting her head, holding her hands together, resting on them, and eventually they said she was bleeding, and then she took her last breath. She died the same day. So that is all I heard, putting all the interviews together about Temitope's death. Whew. Sadly, she's dead. They want to be sure that she died a natural death. Another thing that was shocking was when Foluke Daramola came on Arise TV. She sounded like she did all the funding. She mentioned her NGO, she mentioned her charity, she talked about how she raised the fund, how she foot the bill, how she did everything.
Incidentally, I was the one that championed the cause to raise the funds for Tope Osoba, late Tope Osoba, when she had cancer. And that was early last year, because she reached out to me. At the initial stage, she didn't want it to be a public thing. We thought we could handle it on our own. But when it escalated and then the support was not fast coming to her, we had to go public. And so it was quite a challenging journey, but God was faithful, because her cancer then was in the first stage. So we were able to nip it in the bud as early as possible, but it was quite, it's been, because I run a foundation, Para Foundation, which I take care of the elderly, people that are ill in Nollywood, because, it's the Nollywood in Nigeria.
But that's not what the family said. The family said they paid all the bills. It was only the aftercare she needed help with. She didn't even go back for any follow-up. Cancer is not a joke. She never had a follow-up, never went back for the radiotherapy, never had any further treatment, which that thing could have metastasized. It could have spread to some other places if she didn't do that radiotherapy. Who knows? Foluket said it was a stage 1 cancer. The family said she was a stage 3 cancer patient at the time. When they came to discharge her, did you ask who brought her to the hospital? Who paid the bills before? What was going on? Did you contact the family? Was there anything? She's an adult. I know her fiancé is also an adult. So probably you did not ask any question because you felt they're all adults. They knew what they were doing. And maybe you didn't even realize the family brought her there. So I'm not faulting you for that. But I'm just saying, what follow-up did you do? When people donate money, there has to be accountability. You guys have to be responsible because you can't just give the money to this person and walk away. Sometimes you need to know, what did she do with the money? How did it go? How much did they charge at the hospital? You need to carry people along. Because if all this happened, she would have gone back for her radiotherapy. She was with this money and with the fiancé, and the whole money was gone. It was finished. And after that, she was moved to the hairdresser's house for some reasons, asking her to pretend that they were no longer together. There's a lot of things in between. 3 things that I can just say people can actually hold on to. Number 1, the Olusho guy wasn't married to her. His father is a big man of God, according to people. He's with a woman he's not married to. She had a miscarriage of a triplet or twins, I don't know. For her to have a miscarriage, it will mean that they were actually doing things, which is shocking to me because as a man of God, you shouldn't even have such thing in your house. Then on top of it, you have the woman. According to the family, they're trying to say that everything she's saying is all hallucination. And Kunle Afod said some experts also said to him that is very possible. If the cancer has metastasized, it can actually affect our thought process and blah blah blah. I don't know how true that is. That can just be a coincidence. It might not be the case. We don't know. So only God knows what really truly happened. But what I can deduce from the entire situation that I know that people can actually hold on to is the fact that you were not married to her. You're a man of God. Why would you have her living with you in a church? I don't get it. Like, this is not a time of Sodom and Gomorrah. Who lives with a woman that smokes, sleeping with her to the point where she gets pregnant, to the point where his brother rapes her, if that was true, to the point where a lot happened. Like, there were also speculations that they were probably capitalizing on the fact that she had a little bit of addiction of smoking. They kind of capitalized on it and help her smoke more just to get rid of all her money. And as soon as the money was finished, they kicked her out. I don't know if this is true, but these are all speculations until the investigation is in full and can actually point at things. I wouldn't want to say these things are true because I wasn't there and I don't know. So, but another thing again is what really happened to the money. It wasn't such a long time. This whole thing happens within the period of 2 years. So what happened to over 30 million naira? What did she do? Some deep investigations should involve the bank, should involve every single account she had been checked. Where was money transferred to? Where did they wire money to? Trace all those accounts, trace every numbers that called her, every number she called. Check very well what was she doing. Because this is an actress that was just given over 30 million naira. And all of a sudden, she's a cancer survivor. She has not even gone back for a radiotherapy. She did not complete her treatment, did not go back for checkup or follow-up for a cancer patient. And she lives with a man who claims to be educated, who said he has lived abroad. And you think that was a normal thing for her not to go back to the hospital. Even if she was on drugs and misbehaving and not listening, she loved this man so much. She was calling on him every day and everywhere. All her videos you see is so, oh, come here, come here, come here. It's all about this man, my husband, my husband, my husband, even though they were not even married. So to me, you were the one she would listen to the most if you had insisted for her to go back for a checkup and treatment, which you never did. Sadly, for me, that's the number one fault I blame this man for. Keeping her in the house unmarried is sinful. It's not right. It's not even lawful. One other thing I don't understand is why would you make her pregnant knowing that she's a cancer survivor and still needs radiotherapy? But she never went back for radiotherapy, never went back for follow-up, no treatment, no further checkups, nothing, with over 30 million. On top of it, they said she shouldn't be pregnant for 5 years. She was pregnant. She was pregnant and wasn't cared for, and she even had a miscarriage. I don't think she properly went to a good hospital for the miscarriage. I saw a video where she was saying she needed to use blood medication, and is it histamine or whatever she called it, two medications like that, and she said they cost 200k and she didn't have the money, and she said she only bought the liquid one and used for a bit because she couldn't afford it. Imagine that she couldn't afford it. There's nothing to show for that money. She didn't go back to the hospital and the previous bills were already paid. Where did the money go to? They need to really check and be sure. That's number one. Why did she not go back for her treatment? That's number two. Why is she ridiculed to nothing like that, being recorded, being laughed at in the church premises? Why? Every accusation she said, somebody raped her and recorded the rape. Can that be investigated, please? There is a lot that can be investigated. If then not helping her receive a full treatment, I also see that as a very big no-no for me. So those are the two things that I say. The third one is, when the money was finished, you asking her to go and stay with an hairdresser, sleeping on the floor this is a girl that she's from a good home. From all the things I've heard, Temitope was from a very good home. From the mother's side, they were fantastic. The mother's sister said how the mom's dad had some money that he wanted to like lock his wealth or lock his will or something, and decided to give all the children something, and he gave them 1 million naira, and the Temitope's mom's one was given to Temitope. And she also said they gave the grandchildren 250k each, which they gave her own share as well. That tells you that they're not hungry people. They're not suffering. Her auntie was in Lekki. She was living with her auntie in Lekki. Her parents had a house, her grandparents had the house that they built where they live in, where they buried her mom. We saw the house. Then if you talk about the father's side as well, trust me, they are very well to do. From what she said, they are very well to do, because our uncles were abroad. Our uncle was living in 1004, another one in Lekki. Anyone who knows 1004 is not for the faint-hearted. It's for people to Jankano. So for her to live in 1004 with her uncle, for the grandma to take her in and to look after her, and if you look at her, she said her primary school was in Satellite Town. She said her secondary school was in Satellite Town. She called the name of the private school where she went to throughout her primary and secondary school education. I can tell wealth was not the problem. Money wasn't the problem. Even good people to look after her wasn't the problem. Move on. She also started a container business. She had finished the container in the compound where the church is. Some funny looking shade like that. They call it shade. Those are not shops. That she did. And there she wants to sell toast. She wants to sell all those things. She was even telling somebody in one of her videos as well that, do you know what? Her legs are swollen. I think this was after the miscarriage or before, I don't know. Her legs are swollen, and she was saying, look at the water she sells. It's all finished. This is an actress. How did she get there? How did she get there? There's also a speculation that the person she was dating in the past was the one they came there together for prayers, because they had problems. And when they came there, she ended up blocking the person, deleting the person, and falling in love with the Alagba, Ulusho, or whatever. These things don't look like ordinary to me, because this is a bubbly actress. Temitope looked to me like a proper street, someone that knows the streets, that has the butter background as well. She had a mixture and a flavor of a proper Nigerian girl. Maybe not a born-again Christian, maybe living the life of the street sometimes. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but I'm just saying she wasn't a girl that would be married to some pastor and live in a church and have such a container shop and sell toast and bread and egg. She's not somebody that will be doing some funny looking skits that I've seen her do, dancing without bra, with everything just out. That everything just didn't look normal to me. However, she had gotten her family members up to here. She has rung them up to here that at some point they were like they've given up. I also saw that as they shouldn't have given up on her. But how much can they do? Emini is different from Tiwani. Her mom was gone. That's the only person that would have been able to fight for her till the end. She was gone. So, but because this video is long already, I don't want us to just keep going on and on. So I would end this video here, but there will be a part 2 where I'm going to talk about our trauma that I think was a very massive issue that people didn't really look at, and people are not really talking about it today. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here. I'll see you again in my next video. Thank you. Bye.